channel.
Warrior Class Podcast, the one and only. Warrior Class Podcast, not like the phone is. Warrior Class Podcast, we teach the homies. Warrior Class Podcast, won't leave you lonely. But then beat up everybody, and them niggas always taught it. We clown. We clown on everybody.
Welcome to Warrior Class.
The teachers will pass.
And you will too,
If you pass.
Now, this is the Wrestling World of Self-Defense episode. So, let me show you all my shirt. This is the African Martial Arts Institute's shirt, okay? And let me see if you can see this. It says Egbe Ogun, and then it says wrestling, okay? So, wrestling, to us, just so you know.
And when he says us, he means Africans.
Africans throughout the continent, throughout the breadth and the width of Africa. Okay, wrestling to an African means to put somebody on their back, belly, or side, and there are other things added when it becomes sport, maybe palms or whatever, head, but back, belly, or side by any means to render them more vulnerable to a finishing technique. So if you shoot them with the bow and arrow and they fall on their back, belly, or side, they will wrestle. If you throw explosives, blow their legs out where they're going to fall, they will wrestle. Okay. If you grapple them, throw them with a hip throw, like you think of wrestling, they will wrestle. If you knock them out with a punch, they will wrestle. So that is wrestling. Is martial. So if you go to the African continent, and now I can speak specifically about West Africa, but I've been taught that it's throughout. And you say, well, I want to go, learn African martial arts. They're going to take you to a kung fu school, take taekwondo, judo, something like that. Because all those Asian martial arts, they have schools on the continent.
Right.
And they love showing videos of Africans doing kung fu and jiao like that, but they do not show us doing traditional African martial arts. We spoke on what traditional and indigenous martial arts, what that means in another episode. But they don't show much of that. When they do, they show Laamb.
Right.
Of course, that's the most popular. And we'll get into why that's the most popular when we speak on Laamb today. But and it's Laamb. You see the lamb who does Laamb, right? It's not pronounced lamb or Laamb. It's Laamb. Okay. So when that art. That system is from Senegal, okay, but it's not much different from Bore, from Mali, which is from Mali. It's not much different from Eke or Gidigbo, which are from Nigeria. And let me say this too: Gidigbo. People say, Gidigbo. That's the Gidigbo. I can't stand it. It's Gidigbo. Gidigbo is not just the spiritual. That's the spiritual wrestling of Babalaos. People just say anything. People say anything. I know several Babalaos. I'm one, but I know several from Nigeria, and not one of them does Gidigbo. So stop it. It's not. If it was the martial system of Babalaos, they'd all do it.
Yeah. Because
I know some really high ranking Babalaos, including the Araba of Oshogbo. Okay, and Araba is like the Babalaos of a town.
Right.
My wife has been to the Oni's palace. The Oni is the Babalaos, period.
Right.
He don't do Gidigbo. So stop that. it's a wrestling system. But when you ask about Laamb, what is the martial system that the warriors, the Jagun use in Nigeria, and it's Ijakadi. They'll tell you that. It's Ijakadi. Ijakadi is war system, okay? And that is the system of weapons, throws, strikes, things of that nature.
I believe that's in.
But it's still wrestling. It's still called wrestling.
It's a part of our system.
And it's part of our system, yes. Okay. So, just so you know, I just wanted to clarify that because a lot of people tell me they do Gidibo. Some people saying they do Ijakadi, and they talk like it's interchangeable. It's not. Eke is another wrestling system from Nigeria. You say, well, why does Nigeria have so many? Because Nigeria, one is huge.
I was about to say, first of all, it's big as hell.
Yeah. I mean, Lagos itself is bigger than New York.
Right.
Okay. I believe Lagos has 14 million population. August 16th, 17th, 18th, the Martial Art Conference. What should attendees expect? Not to sound like a spy, but I'm traveling to America and I hate to even stop layover at anywhere in the U.S. Okay, Mark Taylor, well, you know what? Let me get to that now. So, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Hold on just 1 second. Let me add that banner real quick so people know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I was, because he had me for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
He's talking about the Hip Hop Martial Arts Activist Conference.
Oh, so he didn't have the hip hop, so he had me for a minute, but I got you.
Right. So it's not just a martial art conference, but hold on.
It may be for
There you
you.
go. Yeah, maybe that's why he's coming.
Right,
but,
it's okay though.
And some folks, you know, they may be coming just for the hip hop part.
That's okay.
You know, to see who we're gonna have, to see who you know, what artists we're gonna have there, right. You know, famous artists and stuff like that. You know, none would be more famous than me. But they're like, well, damn, I'm not coming because of this shit. Well, no, so we plan to surprise you with certain things like that. But so on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, attendees can expect concurrent. So it's 3 days. The 16th, when you get there, that's really meet and greet. That's that Friday, right. And everybody meets and greets, and that'll probably be it. Just talk, you know, get to know each other at a specific restaurant. We're talking about doing it at a coffee house, the best coffee house in the South. It's called Drink House. That's me and my wife's. Yeah. So we may do it there or somewhere else, depending on, you know, the number of folks. And that would be the 16th. You can get, you know, coffee, alcohol, whatever. We'll have some food. And just chill with each other, get to know each other. The 7th, and you know, people coming in, so orienting them to the city and the space that we're going to be in. Maybe we may have it there so you can see it. Cool. Then the 17th, there are going to be workshops all day. So it'll be concurrent. It'll be a activism, a martial arts, and a hip hop workshop all day. Hip hop workshops could be anything from breakdancing lessons to how to be an MC, right. To panels on the industry, you know, how it is now,
how to promote yourself,
right? And they're going to be overlaps. So it's going to be things, activism in hip hop. It's going to be the martial arts hip hop connection, the martial arts activism connection, you know, things of that nature. The martial arts part is going to be the way we're going to do it. It's not going to be people just talking on martial arts. Right. If you say, hey, I do the Hawaiian martial art of so-and-so, You got to teach that.
Right.
Not just talk on it. You know, I teach the martial art, the secret martial art from Madagascar. Well, then teach it.
The death stare.
Right. You know, or Ominika said, well, I want to do a class or, a panel on me being the whirlwind of death. No, sister. You got to teach why you the whirlwind of death and teach the whirlwind of death technique. So that's how that's going to go. It's going to be workshops. The martial art part is all workshops. So, do your stretching and wear your comfortable clothes. And you can go to any of them, of course. It's how you want to go. Me, I'm going to be at several different ones. Well, since, me and I'm one of the co-chairs, me and Kalaja are the co-chairs. I guess I have to go back, throughout all of them, checking them. But I'm going to be in some of those martial arts workshops, just so you know. And I'll sit as long as I'm able to without having to check on the other ones. That's the activism and the hip hop ones.
Or until you start talking crazy and like, I just can't take it more. This is
If it's too much for me or too deep, because I'm not dude.
Folks start using their mind to knock people down.
Well, they use their mind to knock people down. I'm staying because I want to learn if they teach it.
No, I want to be an example. You got to knock me down with you, but I don't want to just be there. I got to see how you got to feel this. How that feel?
Well, had a conversation with a brother in the Nation of Islam, right? Close friend of mine. We went to elementary school together, and he's a minister. And he said, we used to be able to move objects with our minds. People like to just say whatever. I said, used to, huh? We still can.
I already know.
He said, what? And, everybody drinking their coffee and everything. I said, brother, my coffee cup right there. I'm going to move this with my mind. Everybody sitting up looking. Picked it up. I said, my mind told my hand, told my brain, because my mind is the whole of me. It told my brain, pick up that cup. My brain sent the signal to my arm and to my fingers. I picked up that cup. I moved it with my mind. Brother, let's not get spooky. We know we're not supposed to be spooking out.
That's what we do.
So let's not be spooky. Let's be realistic with that. So I can move stuff with my mind. We've been in a circle before. I said, I'm going to send my Ashe around the circle. And he can attest. He can say, I'm bullshitting if I'm bullshitting. I sent it around the circle. Well, people say, well, see, that's spiritual. It's not. That's pure training. You say, well, you transferred your energy. Look at it. Look at it.
Tap, tap.
He said, tap, tap. I transferred the energy then too.
It works the same.
It's the same thing. I just know how to do it in different ways too. But I could not touch, and I send my energy around a circle. Now that would be some magical shit right there.
I'm saying just because you can't do it.
Like Follow Goon, don't be such a doubter.
You know what I'm saying? Jeez, man.
So you're gonna get real stuff on the 16th, 17th, and 18th. You're gonna be able to apply it. It's not gonna be spooky. I'm gonna be the person that's bringing in the martial artists. So believe me, they ain't gonna be doing no spooky, esoteric bullshit. It's gonna be real. Now, there may be disagreements. Some people may say their art is sufficient for the street. If I disagree with that, I won't say it, but that don't mean y'all can't say it. This person better be depending what they bringing out. Now, a dude who well-known boxing news person. He works for different boxing magazines and stuff. He older. He's an elder. He developed a liking for me, and won't say his name, but if you look on my Facebook and look at old, you'll see him. I won't say his name because of what I'm about to say. He said to me, tell the people he interviewed me. He said, tell the people about your workshop that's coming up. Because I was doing the workshop. We do them all the time. And so I told him about the workshop. That is incredible. He said, of course, we can't really, learn anything from a workshop. You can't really teach anything that people can learn and use when they walk out of there. But, it's a good introduction. I said, no. You can't teach a workshop that people. And a lot of people can't because they don't know how to teach the workshop properly. And I'm saying, and this applies to this today.
Right.
When you teach a workshop, I went to a famous martial artist workshop. I'll say his name. Fuck it. I'll say this person, Danny DeSanto. I went to his workshop. People love Danny DeSanto. He got big respect. He was Bruce Lee's student, and I have my doubts about that. I believe he was Bruce Lee's teacher, to be honest. But I think he took low because Bruce Lee's the famous person, and let me give him the credit. But when you see, he's an amazing teacher. I just don't believe, especially when you see Bruce working with nunchucks, working with the stick. That came from Danny DeSanto. So right, it's definitely Filipino influence. And he put Dan in Game of Death.
Mm-hmm.
But so I believe he was his teacher. But when Dan teaches a work, so he's an incredible martial artist. But when Dan teaches a workshop, he giving you 20 techniques over 2 days.
Sounds good.
That sound, but you leave there not knowing shit.
Right.
It's too much. It's paralysis by analysis. You learn too much stuff, and you're trying to figure out this and pull from this, and you don't know. Yeah. Now, a person that's been training in the Filipino martial arts, and they take it, they probably get a lot because it's just refreshers for them.
Right, you already in it, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
But a new person, and I don't do Filipino martial arts, and I took the thing. Now, we work with the knife. I'm working with one of they folks, and he like, damn, who are you? We working with the knife. I close my eyes working with the dude, right? I don't feel him no more. So I open my eyes, I look, and he's looking at me like, who the hell are you? Mm-hmm. Right. And when we took the picture, it's Dan, me, it's another brother who was salty that Dan put me on his right side. It was crazy. It should be crazy like that. That's just crazy. But anyway, because Dan knew who I was. Okay. Well, teaching 20 techniques, and I spoke to him about this. I do understand his strategy why he does it, which I won't say it because I'm not going to expose that man's military strategy. So I know why he does it, but you're not going to leave there knowing you're not going to be able to use nothing from there. It's too much unless you do Filipino martial arts and you're of a high level.
Right.
When we teach in here, like you'll see today, when we teach workshops, I teach 3 techniques, correct?
Yeah.
But they all stack on each other.
Yeah.
So you can use them in different ways, but it makes it easier too to learn those 3.
And you get something. You take something.
And so you're able to take that, right?
In motion right when you leave.
So the way you teach it, you can teach it so it's usable. You have to do it like that. You have to teach a small number of techniques. I don't know if 3 is the magic number. That's what I do. And they have to be able to overlap with each other. So I can use this part I learned here. I can use it in this. It makes sense. And then I can use this in this. Right. They all make sense. So you really know one technique.
Right.
Broken down in 3 ways.
Right. Broken down in 3 ways. You can separate them if needed. Right. So yeah, we're not going to ever give out the address to this to the hip hop conference. We're going to suggest it to you.
Yeah, send it to your mind.
There you go. That's how you catching up.
If you don't pick it up in your mind, I mean, it wasn't.
It wasn't for you. You weren't supposed to come.
No, so we are going to put it up there, but Kalanji's working that out with a certain famous rapper from here.
These are nice flyers and
so then and once he says, okay, the person who owns the spot,
there you go,
that we're gonna have it at, who's a famous rapper. Hint. Well, Atlanta got a lot of famous rappers, so
that's just like the address.
Right.
City, still don't know.
But
we're mysterious.
So
when the time comes,
when we're in that place, then he'll let you all know, and then we'll announce it. Okay.
Our big rollout package is coming soon.
Yeah, it is.
Real quick, man.
And we're looking forward to all of y'all here and elsewhere.
Definitely, this would be a great time to, you know what I'm saying, to meet and greet. You know, if you want to see us or in person or actually attend the workshop.
And you can, if you say, hey, I got some questions. I want to ask some questions about Lagoon, about martial arts and about life and stuff like that. Be glad to answer those. All right.
No, so what you did, you watch our videos, right? And you see something that Baba did that you don't think is real, that he could really do. What you do is when you see him at the don't even say that.
Don't even say just move on.
Just move on. Do whatever you're gonna do. And see, now you're gonna find out the technique ain't real.
You certainly are.
Don't do that. Don't do that, y'all. Don't ever do that.
You certainly
I walked up before I knew Baba and them. I tried to walk up. And it was some convention, some event. They didn't, only Baba had met me, but the rest of the folks didn't know me. And I was gonna try to like creep up and be like, "Hey man, what's going on?" real quick. They was all talking about this one of the times when Baba telling the story or something, and they crowded around him, and you could see each one as they realized this dude is walking towards them, and they all their faces did the same thing. They all smiled. They see, what this dude? Next thing you know, everybody stopped. And everybody just looking at me, and they coming to me as I'm coming trying to get the Baba. They coming. God damn, this ain't gonna work. Okay, that's how. So yeah, chill out on all that, man.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you say, and I'm being serious for a minute, you see Baba's personality. You know he likes to joke, he likes to laugh. But you may want to laugh and joke in a different manner and say, "Hey, I'm gonna walk up, I'm gonna get surprised." The thing is,
do a single leg takedown.
The problem is, even if you just want to, hey, like that, we don't. The people around him that's concerned about his well-being, we don't know that you joke. If he don't know you, so all we see is an individual advancing towards the man that we all, you know what I'm saying, love and endear. So we, you know, it can be bad. So don't do that, man.
You know, and we had a student. We training. 2 students got into it. Okay. Got into it. I broke it up. I'm thinking it's done. I'm talking to him, but hey, you don't do that. Blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. One student, I guess he didn't like it. He charges me.
Maybe he was still in the.
I don't know. But happened. The students say it's unfair the way they did me because they said I knocked him out on purpose. I just put my hands up, defending myself. The elbow just happened to hit his temple. I was trying to block so he wouldn't hit me.
Right.
And just knocked him out.
Take me.
So if you charging me to do a single leg or punching or something, I might just be defending myself. I don't know. This hand might trying to push it out to keep you away. It may hit your throat. I don't know. I mean, as you push me back, your hand may push my hand out to my knife. As I'm trying to give you the knife as a gift so you don't hurt me, it may stick you.
It could be a nasty, bloody
mistake. A mistake. Because accidents do happen. Look up accidents, African Martial Arts Institute, and you'll see how accidents happen.
Martel, we're joking with you, man. When we're able to release all the information on and the details, we would do that.
Yeah, of course we're joking.
We just messing with you.
If I could send information to people's minds, you would be sitting there doing this show right now. I just send it to your mind.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a rollout and everything, and we'll let people know at that time. So.
And we appreciate you coming from Canada.
Definitely. We welcome you to come.
And so before all that, well, probably around the same time, we're going to post the whole schedule anyway. So it's a convention. So same way as the convention. If you looked up Dragon Con convention, which is the second biggest geek convention in the world.
Whoa!
It's right here in Atlanta. It's a geek convention,
He said a bad word.
I've been there, but I'm not a geek. Is it a bad word?
I said it's not a bad word.
Oh, nerd convention, however you want to say it. Everybody think, everybody want to be a nerd. Now they think it's cool.
There you go.
When I was young, a nerd was just a nerd. It wasn't cool. It wasn't
perception changes everything, don't it?
Boy.
I'm telling you, I didn't want to take books home. I couldn't even be
caught with books. And the nerds control the media now, so they made it cool.
Good point.
With Young Sheldon and all them shows like that. It's cool.
It started with Doogie Howser, I think.
It started with Dungeons and Dragons first.
Good point.
And now Dungeons and Dragons, when people say talk about role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons so big, they say, I want to play Dungeons and Dragons. They don't know. That's just role playing games. They don't know. I said, okay. I roll out a game that I wrote.
Right.
Hey, I played Dungeons and Dragons. No, you didn't. But they don't
like
care.
Martial arts is karate.
Right. Martial arts karate. Right.
Diapers are Pampers.
Shit. When I was young, everybody, man, you're going to your African karate class today. African karate.
Lady just said that at I was just on set and I was telling her I do martial arts. Oh, okay. Well, so what type of karate do you do? What type of karate? Good guy. Karate means martial arts now. It's just crazy. Right. So
that's how. And you think martial arts ain't marketed? Of course they are. So should I get a hotel downtown? No, sir.
A hotel downtown?
No, sir. Well, I don't know. He might be balling.
If you balling, I tell you what, I got an Airbnb.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, exactly.
We got problem for you now. You want to really live? We got now lavish Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Now.
So we have I hate saying this. People think our family balling. My family's not balling at all. We have an Airbnb, and my wife would be pissed if I didn't, tell you. He talked about a hotel,
and he said about Airbnb.
So we have an Airbnb, really 5 bedrooms, really nice. Huge, 3 levels. It's a huge, really nice place. So you can look into that. It's close to downtown. It's about 10, 15 minutes from downtown. But if you stay downtown, oh boy, you really paying.
You paying.
Boy.
You paying.
So I would say, get an Airbnb. There are plenty within the city.
Or stay on the outskirts.
When I say
outskirts, that's
so with us it's different.
Right. I'm saying don't be inside the perimeter. Inside the perimeter is where the money is at. So outside of 285. You're going to get a slightly cheaper price on things.
Yes. So if you look that up, look outside the perimeter, hotels, Atlanta, Georgia, outside the perimeter, it will give you things around. Those will be about 30 minutes from where we're going to be at. Yeah,
anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. But it's, it's on you how you feel about things, spinning and how you, for me, I'm going to try to save if I can. I'm not gonna get gas in town where it's $3.50 when I can go to $3.17.
So downtown, and it's really not downtown. So our downtown sucks. It's not downtown.
Right.
It would be Midtown, Spring Street.
Right.
Those places here replace downtown like you'd be used to other places.
Yeah, it is.
The downtown here ain't nothing going on. It's good.
It's
dead shops and it's just terrible. But Midtown, Buckhead, those have taken the place of downtown.
Right. Really, yeah.
They're spread out from each other. Okay, Midtown, Spring Street, 10th Street, and Buckhead. Do not get no goddamn hotel in Buckhead. Oh my God.
Yeah, don't do that.
Unless you got some millions, in fact, still come to our Airbnb.
Yeah, you got
and give us a tip.
There you go. Let's give us a bigger tip. That's all you need.
So
Peace, James, and Martel for J.
I was a bit of a nerd in school, meaning I did my work, made the honor roll a few times, but I was a street dude. That's not a nerd. I did my work too.
I wish I'd have did my work.
And I got a full scholarship. Okay.
Yeah, I wish
but I wasn't no nerd. The nerds got angry with me. Years ago, I did an article talking about the nerd and the bully have the same psychological profile. And I spoke to a psychologist friend of mine and brought in receipts. And they were pissed. But the nerds I knew, they were bullies, just intellectual bullies.
Of course.
You wouldn't, in fact, went over to these nerds, they were playing chess. I said, can I play with you guys? You wouldn't understand the vicissitudes of chess. First of all, who talks like that if you're in high school? I said, well, can you let an old dummy like me play? Just a game. Okay, this will be quick. I ate all their asses up. They said, would you like to come to the chess club? Oh no, I don't hang with nerds. I did them just like that. I was the president of the role-playing club. But the role-playing club, I'm actively recruiting girls into the club because nerds, they don't know how to holler at women. I was hollering at women. I'm bringing the women. I'm like, hey, I'm bringing women. We can bring other cool brothers into the club, right? A nerd is a person. We were driving to Dragon Con. I was doing 5 panels at Dragon Con. Okay. And during the steampunk era, I created, me and other black writers created a sub genre of steampunk called steampunk. It's steampunk told from an African/black lens, right? So they bring me in, do all this, and I am the co-editor of the Steampunk Anthology, other anthologies and things like that. But they brought me in. Me and my wife are driving. My wife's driving, dropped me off. Nerd standing on the corner. Can you tell me where so-and-so is? He's talking to me. But my wife said, oh, you go. My wife knows this city like the back of her hand. You go to so-and-so, walk down so-and-so, but this will be a quicker way you do so-and-so, so-and-so. He sweating. Thank you, ma'am. Do you mind if I say you're beautiful? I said, you just came on yourself, didn't you, boy? Like that. My wife said, dude, why you do him like that? I said, cause he did. Look how he acting. Let's go. We drove out, and my son in the back cracking up. You know, my daughter gave me at the time, was like, what does that mean, Daddy? Don't worry about it, girl. You'll find out when you're 30. You'll find out when you're 30 what that means. But not right now. So that is a nerd, James. That ain't you. You from Chi-Town. You ain't like that. I know that. Okay. But nowadays, they've changed where the nerd is cool.
Right.
So you go to, if a dude stops my wife now, looking for Dragon Con, he gonna be ripped to shreds. But he got thick glasses on. He can say, hey, sister, you tell me what so-and-so. She was like, so-and-so. Thank you, my dear queen. He gonna walk with his suitcase, you know, and he gonna be sweating a little bit because he was a little nervous, but you know, he's learned to play it cool.
But we should
they cool.
Make smart, intelligent cool, not the nerd.
Right, not the nerd itself. Because all nerds are not smart.
And you don't make the bully cool.
And you
right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, same mentality.
But and TV at first made the bully cool.
Of course.
The bully, you know, the jock. First of all, I was a jock, if you will, in school. Okay?
Yes.
I was not a bully ever.
Right. The jock was always the bully.
In fact,
and dumb.
I was beating up the bullies until my sister said, now you become the bully. You're the bully of the bullies. I said, oh my God. I had to look at myself. So I stopped. Because I would do stuff like this. The dude, hey, give me a quarter to somebody. I go over, smack him up. Take your money out your pocket. Give him your money. I make him pay the dude he was bullying. So I thought about that shit like, damn, I'm bullying the bully. I can't do that. I can't, damn. Yeah. So I stopped. You know, that's like somebody, I'm gonna fight capitalism with capitalism. That's not the right thing. That's not the right thing to do.
Take it over, then we're gonna control it. That's like
right.
Capitalism.
Although nobody was complaining that I was doing it.
Of course.
So it's hard for me to, you know, nobody was complaining that I was doing that, but you know, I was doing it, you know. And I wish at one point, strangely enough, I wish that I was a nerd. And I was doing that.
Oh, yeah.
They would stop bullying up on the nerds.
That's a good point.
You know, so I'm like, man, I should start wearing, you know, my pants too high. And I had a pride in my dress, but I wear my pants too high and only wear flannel shirts, button all the way up, and put my pencils in here.
Get you some white penny loafers.
Man, white penny loafers.
That's the key. That's the key to nerd. Get some white penny loafers. You doing it now. You and P. Herman, that'll be the only two people with them.
Now, I knew people. I knew people thought they were being really dope, and this was nerdy myself, but they weren't nerds. They would buy penny loafers and put a dime in there.
Oh yeah. Oh what?
They thought that was balling.
What?
That was so corny to me.
What? You see them dimes from a mile away too. They walk. You like, oh, he got dimes in them.
Now I told my old man as a joke. He said, "Boy, if you do, I'm gonna snatch my." I said, "Dad, I want you to give me a $1." You know what I mean? And I'm gonna put the $1 in. See, if you put a $1 in your penny loafers, I'm taking them.
I never had penny loafers. I wanted some penny loafers.
Oh, I got penny loafers at the house right now. You want them?
No, sir.
I give them to you.
I wanted them at a time. Okay, real quick. This is
So I bought penny loafers for a movie role I was playing.
yeah, we know you just ain't out.
No, I'm not just out rocking no penny loafers
for the hell of it.
In the double arts.
I saw this in the news and I thought this was real wild. You know, that King Charles got diagnosed with cancer. I didn't know that. And they was talking.
Why you got to smile on you? I told you before. Stop doing that. You got to smile on your face about the man with cancer, man.
No. Okay, so anyway, on CBN they was talking about what kind of treatment they was going to do, and this is the royal expert. He's a king, so you got their own experts. The guy said they will not be doing chemo. That he will be doing, he will be taking herbs and potions. This was his exact quote.
He said potions.
He said potions. He said he'll be taking herbs and potions. That's exactly what he said regarding to his cancer. Those are his exact words. I got them in quotations. He said the king will be taking herbs and potions. And let me exactly.
Now, if you go and in England, he'll say he'll be taking herbs and poisons.
Right, exactly. So I just thought that was interesting. You know, you don't really. I haven't seen something that big since that senator was. It was one senator. She was a female. This was like 10 years ago. A woman that was assaulted and she was in a wheelchair. And I remember they said when it was every day talking about it. And the first day she got up, it was like we had a breakthrough because she was able to get some sunlight today.
She got up, like stood up out the wheelchair.
No, I mean we was able to get her up. They stood her up and they were able to get her to stand up in the sunlight. It's like, and you know, just her being in the sunlight is tremendous progress. And I'm like, ain't no doctor ever told me being in the sun was tremendous progress. What the fuck? And that's when I started looking in the sun, gazing and all that stuff. So just pay attention to what's going on around you.
Now I told my doctor after I had the stroke. Mwali Mubarudi, you all probably know him. He said, Baba, go out and hug a tree. The tree will give you energy. I told the doctor that a person I respect told me to hug a tree. And it energized. The doctor said, oh, that's an intelligent man. Yeah, definitely. You should do that. He ain't told me that before.
Right. That's what the doctor be telling my mama. My mama would go in there and say, well, my son told me I shouldn't take so-and-so. And the doctor would be like, he right. Why the hell you just try to give it to him? Like she called me all the time. And I say, Mom, use me as an excuse. If you don't think so, you feel like it ain't, say, my son told me blah, blah, blah.
In the martial arts. So there's a well-respected martial artist. He does white eyebrow. He does Wing Chun. Patsan Wing Chun, not the Wing Chun that Ip Man did, which is Hong Kong, something like that. But his Wing Chun is different. It looks different too. He does that, and he does white eyebrow, mainly white eyebrow.
I heard you speak on that.
But we had a conversation, and I said, I've learned that when you look at the 18 bronze men in the Shaolin Temple, and there's an onyx man at the end, 18 bronze men. I said, I've learned that you all read this way. So wouldn't that be the first one? He said, yes. The first man who brought us martial arts was black. This comes from Eddie Chong, high ranking. I said, hey, man, I want you to tell my people that we're doing a workshop, and we're doing a workshop together. I said, my student gonna be to tell my student, tell all the people there. He said, I'm not doing that. He said, that's for you to do. Whoop. You teach your people. Whoop. He said, that's not for me. I'm not doing that.
Hey.
You let me know I'm not doing that. You teach your people.
My first Jeet Kune Do class, I was geeked after the class. I always wanted to do Bruce Lee martial arts. So after class, I'm like, man, this is great. It's Andy Young. And I'll never forget. I was like, man, this is just so great just to think about somebody, this was all created. Somebody had to think and do this. And he's like, he waited for me to finish. He said, man, it all came from you. And I was like, I was like, I don't get what you're saying. It all comes from you. And then he left. He wouldn't say nothing else.
Andrew Young taught you old ass.
No, not Andrew Young. Andy Young was a big old fat, not old, a young fat dude. But he was nice. I'm not gonna lie. But he wasn't even doing Jeet Kune Do. He took wrestling and martial arts, growing up. But I never forgot that. And when I understood it later, I went back to him. I said, man, the first day when you told me, I stopped taking it, of course, and got into some real shit, excuse me. But I came back to him, I was like, man, you told me it came from you and I didn't get it. And he still ain't said, he just smiled. He's like, now you know, don't you? Now I know. So
and you know, they're right. They're not going to tell people it's really not their job.
of course they do know, right?
It's our job.
Before we get into it, I want one more thing real quick. I just want to speak on the importance of having genuine people around you, friends or family, people that you can go to, and the importance of knowing what you need. So I'm gonna tell you where I'm coming from. This was a while back, but it just made me think. So I think about how people, this might sound wild, but how people, you know, there's a lot of people. I'm not one of them guys that cheat on or in relationships. Like, let me just explain where I'm getting at. So sometimes I think, you know, I have conversations with people. What make people that's friends have sex with each other? What make people have sex with people they don't think they really would be a good match with, or something like that? I'm not asking what make people have just sex. I know what make people have sex. I mean, I have sex. I know why people have random sex, but I mean when people have a friendship and have sex and then right after they know they messed up. And I was talking with somebody yesterday and I realized where it comes from. It comes from not really knowing what you need and having people that you can get what you need from. So I'll explain. So I was feeling down, you know, the other day. I had just basically separated in this relationship I was in. I had gotten into with you know, a romantic relationship. I was just kind of separating from that. And it was a long distance relationship, so it's been like maybe 5 weeks since I've had physical interaction with another person, maybe 6 weeks or longer, since I've had physical interaction with a woman, touch, hug, anything pretty much, right? So I'm feeling like I'm thinking about, I'm getting personal right now, but I'm giving my business. I'm feeling like I need sex. You know what I'm saying? So I call up a
Prostitute.
Boom. Nah, I call up an ex and I'm like, yo, can we have sex, please? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
I did. I called up an ex and said, yo, can we have sex? But I'm gonna tell her my business right now. I just told her I was gonna say it. She said it was okay. I just text. So
You don't say her name?
I am not. I ain't crazy. So I did. I asked her. And she didn't respond. But then the next morning or 2 mornings later, she called like 6, 7 in the morning. She's like, you want to come over? So, you damn right. So I jumped over, got ready, boom, I'm over there. So I jumped up, get in the bed, and I'm not gonna about to give you all the details from this part.
Oh man.
I ain't give you all. I know you want all the juice. So,
I turned on my recording, everything. Damn, let me turn that
but
on.
I will tell you, so we was about to do it, but I didn't. It was like so I'm trying to talk without talking, without really, and it's not because I have any not my person, but I'm respect the person I'm talking about.
Of course.
So they was like, well, you took so long, I kind of ain't in the mood now. That's what they said, because I took a minute, I washed and, you know, plucked the hair, the gray out my nose and everything, and went over there. It's like, you know, it took so long now. So I'm like, man, but I really wasn't complaining. I'm just acting. I'm like, man, dang. So we started talking, right? And she while we talking, I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm acting like I was mad for a minute, but then I roll over. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna lay here for a minute, you know, whatever. And what she does is just like, well, do you want me to rub on you while you sleep? Because I just told her, I was like, well, you know, I ain't been with no woman in so and so and so. She's like, well, you trying to make me feel bad? Like, that ain't my problem. I was like, I ain't had physical touch in like 6 weeks. She's like, you want me to put my arms around your head? Like, I feel like I don't want to say yes. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of it's my ego. So I was like, yeah, shit, yes, I do. And so I turned around. She, you know, facing my back or whatever, got her arms around me. She rubbing on me. And I'm this in my mind, I'm telling you, it's a sad, maybe sad. Maybe there's a lot of men that have women that rub all on them all the time. Bob was married, I'm sure, whatever. I'm thinking, I said, oh my God, this feels so good. So I asked, I was like, I don't know why I'm asking her, she can't tell me. I'm saying, damn, is this what it feel like when I be rubbing on you? Is that what it feel like? And she just smiled and laughed and everything, right? So then she asked me some questions. I talked to her. And I'm like, I actually feel like after we finished talking, like, damn, I feel like I don't really have to. She's like, yeah, I don't feel like I think I needed to talk to somebody. Because she had some questions about what she was going to do with her son and the father of her son, as far as, him not paying, should she do certain things? She know how I feel about the state. And she asked me, I'm like, well, dang, I mean, at this point, your hands kind of tied behind your back because what you can't do is, struggle with this dude. You know what I mean? So I understand. And she's like, I think I just wanted to talk to somebody. And I'm like, I think I just needed a hug from a woman. I just needed a woman to just, that cared about me. Not just any woman, but I needed a woman to care about, just to feel physical touch and affection. And so my point was that is, we could have had sex. We could have been, say she was with somebody, she got a boyfriend or whatever. I got a girlfriend, but I'm mad at her, and she mad at whatever. People getting these little things and they do this stuff and not really knowing what they really need. You really didn't need the sex from that person. What you really need is somebody to pat you on your back. It's okay, baby. We don't want to say that as men. We don't want to admit that we might need that. And sometimes you might not even know. It's important to try to be and constantly trying to understand yourself. Constantly, I say this every night in here, I'm constantly redefining my relationships. I'm constantly examining all of my relationships over. That's including the relationship I have with myself. So just take time out. Try to understand why you do things. If it don't make sense, you probably doing something you ain't got no business doing. You know what I'm saying? And we can cut down on some of the pain and hurt that we cause ourselves and others by doing things we really ain't trying to do. That's not what we really wanted. And so I just wanted to put that out there. I think that could be for somebody. If it's not, then I just told my business for no reason. So it's okay. Either way, I feel better. I don't know about y'all. It's been a minute since I watched this show. Have we established if the man's married, if this man is married asking for a friend?
No, he's not married.
Yeah, after that story, if I was married,
boy, you being funny, it wouldn't be no more.
I fucked that all up. But no, I am not married. But listen, I'm out there. I'm out here looking though. I'm looking for that.
Yeah, he's looking. He wants to be married.
I want to be married.
In the meantime, he said, "Hey, just he just having sex because he got needs. But if you hug him, he ain't got to have sex with you. You just hug him, and I don't know how many times that'll work."
I do not believe in abstinence. I had this conversation too.
Now,
I would talk about this all the time. Revolution without sex, I ain't with that shit.
Yeah, so, brother came from England. Two brothers came from England. They came to my house. They were talking with me and everything. And one brother proudly told me, "It's not Akinbobola, so it's not him, but this one brother who I love." He says, I mean, this is no reason not to love him, but it was just silly what he said. He said, and he was proud. He said, "Baba, I've gone 2 years, no sex." He's proud. I said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "Huh?" I said, "You went through telling me you're a revolutionary, that you ready to put in all kinds of work for black folk. You done work over across the pond for black folk, and you ready to do work here for black folk, revolutionary work. You done told me that the BLA is, you want to be the next BLA."
Right,
okay?
that's big.
And you're telling me you haven't had sex for 2 years? What's wrong with you, man? Why are you waging revolution so hard and you ain't even having sex? I said, one of the greatest acts of revolution is to create children that can still fight these bastards. Okay, I don't care what your thinking is, your opinions. You may not be straight, so you don't want to be with a woman, or you don't want to be with a man. We still need, it's a revolutionary act if you raise them in revolutionary minded,
right,
to have children raised to continue to fight these bastards. When George Floyd was murdered, my daughter was too young to be allowed to be cursing. She's 15 now. She's still just cursing at home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But she looked at the video, the cop killing George Floyd, murdering George Floyd, and I didn't realize she was behind me. I said, God, these police, right? And she said, fuck the police. And I looked over my shoulder. I said, goddamn right. Fuck the police. And I knew we had raised the right.
There you go.
Knew we had raised the right. But then I said, I'm cursing up in his house. No that part got to come too. But I don't believe in monkism because we have to continue on.
Right. We believe in discipline.
Right. Right. Discipline. You ain't don't just willy-nilly out there.
Yeah, I ain't out here slinging.
Right. I don't believe in that either. That shit is ridiculous.
Right.
But done the proper way with intelligence and intent, beautiful, man. And that is why I fight revolution. So our babies are free to grow and be who they gonna be.
Yeah, well.
Right.
Thank you, Sandra Edwards.
But if we all celibate, shit, ain't no babies coming. No need me to fight no more. I just chill.
And there's some angry, uptight motherfuckers.
Right. And if you tell me not to, not to have sex no more, I view that as oppression.
Right. You try to die in bullshit.
Even if you just trying to just suggest that to me, dude, you've been oppressive. You've been oppressive right now. Leave me alone.
And James, who is they talking about? They said don't be pushing up on the honeys at the organization. I will not, James, be pushing up on the honeys in the organization.
No, we're not doing the organization honey pushing.
No. I play it real.
On that too. So I would be willing to bring every sister that I've ever taught online. Or not me, you could bring them, or Monika could bring them, right? Not a woman could tell you, one of my students that I ever pushed up on them for sex. The only female student I've ever had sex with is my wife. Because she's my wife.
Right.
But other than that, no. These are my sisters, my daughters. So my sister daughters, they like, both.
Right.
We're in an organization or in USPI. Never. That's the one thing we have to control, brothers. We have to control our penis because we don't want our penis to be a weapon of war against our people. It should be a weapon against our enemy. And boy, we enjoy it with the person we're supposed to be with, right? But don't use the people in your organization for easy pussy. That has to be said. I feel that. I mean that, and I've said it to people before.
Yeah, well.
Okay, and don't hesitate to say that because that is just we have to be more disciplined, and the enemy can use that against you too.
Will definitely use your lack of discipline against you in every chance you get.
In Ndaba My Children, a book by Busumazulu Mutwa. People call him Credo Mutwa. I hate that he's transitioned now, but Credo, that's his Catholic name. That's an insult.
He didn't want to be called that.
Right. You take that Credo and you take his Busumazulu name away and give him Credo. Hell no. Busumazulu Mutwa wrote a book called Ndaba My Children. In that book, he talks about a war being waged. And there were these brothers that were undefeatable. great strategy, great fighters, great warriors. Well, they got beaten because this one king sends this fine woman to him.
Right.
And they can't help themselves because they just were promiscuous, and I mean to the point where they just slinging everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They slept with her. She had a fatal disease. It's the first recording of venereal disease.
Mm.
This is from the Zulu liturgy, all their ancient history. And she killed both of those princes with the disease that was in her loins. But they killed themselves.
Exactly.
That's the lesson in that.
Exactly.
Because they didn't have discipline. So they didn't even see her coming. They didn't even think maybe this is a setup.
No.
She's sleeping with both my brother too. They knew that. So just be careful out here, y'all. Men and women, of course.
Know what you let your guard down for, and pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? If you know you let your guard down when you see a nice shape, whatever pass by you, that's when you pay attention most.
And on that, because a lot of people, I was on a panel with a dude, and he said, yeah, like Belle Biv DeVoe said, never trust a big button to smile. I said, never trust Belle Biv DeVoe. Belle Biv DeVoe says, people doing the talking about Diddy and all that, right? Belle Biv DeVoe says, backstage, underage, adolescent, how you doing? Fine. She replied, I sighed, I like to do the wild thing. Was an adolescent.
Right. Get
your ass out of here, Belle DeVoe, you child molesting bastards. And people didn't pay that attention. People just going by the beat and the rap of it.
I think they heard it just kind of. I heard it. I heard
it. By, right.
It just went by.
I talked to a sister. She was like, I love Belle Biv DeVoe. They my favorite. When I broke that down to her, she said, oh my God. She didn't hear it.
She heard, didn't listen.
Right. She didn't listen. Right.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my
That's
God.
More accurate. We heard
and it messed her up.
It's like now they're playing all these lyrics of stuff that
Diddy stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, y'all heard all this shit. Now all of a sudden it's big. So yeah.
Well, it's the same, they listen to R. Kelly. It hit different now, don't it? It hit the same. Mm. You heard this shit years ago, but you were going by the beats.
Right.
So, all right, y'all. So we're about to get into it.
Yes. Before we start, I just want to be real quick, but let's give send our condolences to Amaniki. If you were watching last week, she talked about her father, and he actually did transition.
I was wrestling whether to talk about that or not, but yeah.
Right. I just said we're just going to send our condolences, and if you're free to do the same. We ask that send prayers to the family. If you do, you don't have to post it. You can actually pray instead of posting it on social media. You can actually do that.
Or you can leave a comment here.
Definitely. My whole thing is, I just want to acknowledge that.
Emmanuel Briggs said discipline is definitely a must. Yes, absolutely.
I'd say for men and women.
And well, if a woman disciplines her dick, it's a whole other.
She needs to have dick discipline, but in another way.
Oh yeah. Now, on that too, I was going to say, men value your private just like sisters do. I value my privates. I've been to dudes have come to class, and we grappling. We grapple club, and I'm smelling something coming from their pants. So you don't even value yourself enough to wash, and you don't value the other people you're training with to wash your ass and your penis, your testicles. Stop it. That's nasty. But care more. But even if you don't never care about yourself, wash yourself. People say, well, you got to tell grown men that. Goddamn right, because they don't do it.
You'd be surprised.
I was in a class and a brother was teaching. He said, hey, when you wipe yourself, look at your tissue. Keep wiping. He said, if it's brown, you brown.
Right.
And dudes were like, oh. They were surprised.
Stop it.
I'm serious. They really didn't know, man. We're in a hell of a state. We're in a hell of a state.
Yeah.
We're in trouble.
You
We
talking
don't
about
know how to
wiping?
wipe our behind.
I remember in class you talked about wiping properly, and it was some
And
women.
people there, yeah, were like,
You talking about women should wipe this way,
right?
and there was some women in class like,
Yeah,
I
like,
never heard that.
Right. About wiping front to back. And there were sisters like, huh? But a sister told me, we were having a discussion. I said, you know, it's sad that sisters don't know their body. Me, my wife, and this other sister. We're waiting for other people to get there. Luckily, they weren't. She'd have been embarrassed. Well, maybe she wouldn't have been, because other people probably didn't know. I said, you know, it's terrible that people don't know their bodies. People actually think they urinate from women. I know some sisters, some high school girls who think they urinate from their clitoris when I was young. And I had to teach them, a man, tell them, she said, we don't. I said, stop joking. I almost said her name. I said, stop joking. She said, I'm sure we don't. I said, I'm gonna walk out the room, baby, to my wife, baby, you talk to her. And she talked to her about anatomy. That this woman, who's older than my wife, thought, and my wife's in her 40s, this woman's older than my wife, she thought that all this time that she urinated, so she didn't even look, I guess, that she urinated from her clitoris. And my wife had to, my daughter gave me, who's 15, knows better than that.
And that's why you understand that women, when it talks about sexually, how some women aren't having orgasms the last because they still don't even understand. You don't know something that don't exist.
It doesn't exist. It's sad. That's the sadness.
Yes, what? The song "Do Me," you can look it up. What he just quoted was the rap part that Michael Bivins said backstage underage.
Yeah, backstage underage adolescent. Yeah. How you doing? That's on "Do Me Baby."
Right.
"Do Me Baby," baby too.
Do me, baby.
God damn.
Do you think you can do me, baby?
Right.
That's what he said. They talking about an adolescent girl backstage. Right. She likes to do the wild thing, and he's like, "Hey, okay." So yeah.
When I was in the military,
how comfortable?
Dudes would say two things. They said, if she's old enough to pee, she's old enough to me. Old enough for me. A child come out the womb peeing. There's some they pee in the womb.
I've never heard.
If she's old enough to pee, and then another dude said, "Well, I'm not like that, not that bad, but if she bleeding, I'm needing." There are girls who bleed at 12, 13.
I think about the interview when they asked R. Kelly, "Do you
date teenage girls?"
He's like,
"Define teenage."
Define teenage. What? It's a one before the number. If it's a one before the number, do you mess with any women at the age of one before any number? If it's a one before the number, my nigga, you're wrong.
Well, before he did that, what turned me off, and I said something's wrong with him. When he talked about, I would go have a Danish and coffee with my mother, and my mother would split the Danish, and we both eat half of the Danish. And then my mother would drink the coffee, and she would hand me the cup, and I turn it to her lipstick so I could taste her lipstick. So he had problems anyway, and we didn't want to see it because we want to step in the name of love. Hey, man. Okay, so
that's wrestling for self-defense.
Because we were wrestling with something else.
Yeah, I'm telling you, some of these folks, man, it's not my job sometimes, but sometimes I feel like it is, boy. I just don't, and you know what I'm talking about. I ain't got to go no further. The Warriors, know.
So anyway, so B-Lay's gonna get into it. So this is Warrior Class, the wrestling world of self-defense, and we're dealing with 3 types of wrestling. So we're gonna get into it. Well, I'll just say the 3 types of wrestling are freestyle wrestling.
Yes.
In high school, they call it folk wrestling. Folk wrestling is just wrestling from a culture, really.
Right.
So freestyle wrestling, Shuai Jiao, which is fast wrestling. They say there's also Shuai Jiao, combat wrestling style, but I haven't seen a difference really. And then there is Laamb. Those are the 3 wrestling types we're going to be dealing with. Of course, every culture has a wrestling type, but these kind of all other wrestlings can compare to one of these.
Right.
So
can we do this as where we talk about them, all of them, and then we show how they go?
We can do that. Yeah, we can do that.
So we don't have to keep
moving that.
Right.
Okay, so
we're gonna have some technical issues today.
Yeah, because one of
our monitors are going.
Yes.
Just for the day. We'll be back. So anyway, we're talking freestyle now. Freestyle has its origin from catch can wrestling. That's the actual wrestling style. Catch can.
Yes.
The catch can wrestling, a classical hybrid grappling style and combat sport that included struggling on the ground, catching, holding of the leg, twisting arms and ankles, dislocating fingers and gouging eyes. This was developed in 1871. The object of the sport of freestyle wrestling is to force your opponent into or onto his back in order to pin them. A pin, also called a fall, occurs when any part or both shoulders, or both shoulder blades of either wrestler are in contact with the mat for 1 second. A pin ends the match immediately. However, if neither wrestler is pinned, the winner is the wrestler with the most points at the end of the match, providing at least 3 or more technical points have been scored in regular time. If neither wrestler has scored 3 points during regular time, there will be an overtime period, and the first wrestler to achieve 3 points will be declared the winner. If neither achieves 3 points, the winner will be the wrestler ahead of points or at the decision of the officials if there is a tie. If a wrestler scores 10 points more than his opponent at any time, geez, that's bad. That's bad. The bout is stopped, and the competitor with the 10-point lead is as if they want to continue and try for a fall or end the bout with technical superiority, also known as a technical fall. This has happened in high school wrestling. They don't ask you nothing. They don't ask you nothing. You get 10 points up, it's over. It's over. Give up. There's 6 ways to score points in a freestyle wrestling match. I just want to say, if somebody beat you by 10 points in wrestling, get out of it. You need to do something else. Wait. Do another type of wrestling is all I'm saying. There's 6 ways to score points in freestyle wrestling matches: takedown, escape, reversal, exposure, passivity, and penalty. In this style, unlike other styles, wrestlers are allowed to use their legs and their opponent's legs for offense or defense during the bout. The objective of the sport is to pin down the opponent's shoulder into the mat. Freestyle wrestling is part of the Olympic Games and is the highest level competition for the sport.
Now, when it talks about using the legs for offense and defense, Greco-Roman does not grab the legs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't grab the legs and wrestle. Okay.
That's so strange.
And we're going to grade these for our opinion on their efficacy for self-defense.
Right.
And we're going to deal with techniques at the end of talking about each of these against an opponent with a knife, using each of these wrestling systems. Okay. So the next one is Shuai Jiao, also known as Chinese fast wrestling. Shuai Jiao is a Chinese martial art that involves throws, holds, and submissions, both standing and on the ground. It is the oldest form of Chinese Kung Fu, with a history of over 4,000 years. So people say, Shaolin is not the oldest. Shuai Jiao is, with a history of over 4,000 years, dating back to 2697 BCE, when the emperor of China fought against the rebel Qi Yu and his army. Shuai Jiao is similar to judo. In Shuai Jiao, pins, joint locks, chokes, except in judo, you can use chokes. They use a lot of them. In Shuai Jiao, pins, joint locks, chokes, and strikes are illegal. But grabs, trips, sweeps, throws, and takedowns utilizing the legs are permitted. Shuai Jiao wrestlers wear jackets, pants, and special wrestling shoes. Now in freestyle wrestling, they wear a singlet.
Right.
Which is, how can I describe it? You've seen professional wrestlers wear the singlet.
Right. It's basically it's a bodysuit almost with shorts.
Right, shorts, right,
short
exactly. In Shuai Jiao, pins, joint locks, chokes, and strikes are legal, but grabs, trips, sweeps, throws, and takedowns utilizing the legs are permitted. Shuai Jiao wrestlers wear jackets, pants, and special wrestling shoes. Though striking is not allowed during matches, many Shuai Jiao stylists do practice punches, kicks, elbows, and knees to complement their throwing skills. So they learn that in class, but in competition, they can't strike.
I don't know if we ever said this like this, but the easiest way I think to be able to determine a sport from self-defense is if it's got anything that's illegal in it.
Considered illegal.
Yeah, considered illegal. If it say anything is illegal, then you know right off the gate.
Well, it's combat as it's martial art as combat as opposed to martial art as sport.
Exactly, that's what it is.
Now, common Shuai Jiao techniques include controlling an opponent, using their jacket top to break their base or posture, hip throws, single sleeve gripping, and countering your opponent's sleeve grip. Those are the most common.
Yes, when you see it, you see a lot of sleeve gripping throws,
Right.
lot of sleeve gripping throws. It's
Now,
gonna be hard to do that to me because I don't wear shirts when I go out, so I don't see how that's going.
now, Laamb. Laamb, also known as Senegalese wrestling, or lutte Senegalese, dates back to, and that's French, lutte Senegalese, but Senegalese wrestling was Laamb. It dates back to 1300 CE. Okay. Shuai Jiao is older than Laamb, but Shuai Jiao is not older than African martial arts, period.
Right.
Okay. The sport was performed as part of the Harvest Festival celebration to determine who the strongest man in the community was. One of the oldest known participants was Bukar Jilak Faye, who lived in the 14th century, which is the 1300s, in the kingdom of Sine and exceeded in competition. The West African, and he's named because Bukar Jilak Faye is like a
Bukar Jilat fight.
Right. He's like a patron saint of wrestling. Okay. The West African wrestling art was also used to prepare soldiers for war, and kings would settle disagreements and conflicts with one another through the discipline. So if you a king, I'm a king, we have conflict, right? But say I want I want your that grazing area where your sheep at. I want that, and I want the sheep too.
Oh, I need that.
He said, "Oh, we can throw down then, partner." And then we
That's
just
what
send our wrestlers. I send my best wrestler. You send your best wrestler. My best wrestler whoops yours. I said, "Now, thank you for the land. Your best wrestler whoops mine." You say, "Get lost. No, come back, ask for it again." Okay, and that spares hundreds of people, thousands getting killed. Okay,
I like it.
Laamb eventually became a spectator sport, and nowadays tens of thousands of fans fill stadiums to the rafters to watch the awesome events play out. In Laamb, athletes can strike their opponents with their hands or feet, and in order to win, must get their opponents to make contact with the ground with their back, belly, side, both knees, or palms. They can also win by knockout. We brought in a Laamb champion here to Atlanta, and he was training with me for a while, and we're talking about me bandaging him and training him for MMA, right? But so we have that on video of our workshop with him that we did a couple years ago. A contest ends once an athlete has been knocked out, touches the ground, or is removed from the wrestling area. So you can throw them. Because there are multiple ways to win bouts. Because there are multiple ways to win, bouts tend to last only 2 to 3 minutes. But they can last longer. Senegalese wrestling techniques can vary from your standard double leg takedowns to hip throws, being thrown by one's ungamba, And the Ungamba, you probably seen, if you've seen Laamb wrestlers, they have, looks like they got a loincloth on or whatever. It's wrapped around their loincloth. That's an Ungamba. And you can throw by that. They'll say Ungamba. Well, you think it's Ngamba, but it's Ungamba. Okay. That's their loin wrapper. So you can throw them out by that, or you can throw them by that, which is one of my favorite ways to throw. Instead of Ngamba, you can grab somebody's belt nowadays.
Right.
Or the city, you can grab the belt and do the same thing. To a knee to the liver.
Take you down.
That, right?
Definitely take you down.
Boom! You take it right, and you fall. And an uppercut punch. Thus, Laamb has elements similar to boxing, freestyle wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling, Thai boxing, and judo. It's got similarities to that.
Do we really got to go any further?
Because it was used for war.
We really got to go any further.
Now,
description.
One of the most recognized, and I can't say I'm not biased because I studied Laamb, but I love it. I studied for that reason.
Right.
One of the most recognized Senegalese wrestlers of recent times is Roug, who's exciting, Reug, if you want to look him up. Who's exciting, I think he fights in one MMA competition, okay? Whose exciting style continues to win over fans of MMA. Because he has dedicated himself to becoming the best mixed martial artist on the planet, he is rising up the heavyweight division and putting all contenders on notice. With a 75% finishing rate to boot, Roug is in the finest form of his career, having won his last 2 bouts against notable heavyweight competition. Now we're going to get, so you got freestyle wrestling, Shuai Jiao, you got Laamb. And so we're about to get into techniques now. What says, I don't, know much about it, pancration. I would know much about pancration. I was interested in it for a second when I watched early UFC.
What do you think about pancration? Emmanuel Briggs asked you that about that earlier.
Oh, what do you think of pancration? So,
did we talk about that before?
Yes. So pancration, we have not seen in the modern era. We saw, so there's a gentleman, Demantis or something like Deman. I can't get his name, but he is Greek, I guess. But he looking at pictures on vases or vases, how you say it.
That's what it was.
He created pancration based on what he saw.
That's crazy.
And what he's heard. So he recreated.
So wait a minute.
But people have done that with African martial arts. They've done it with European martial arts.
Yeah, but that is
from what they've seen in manuals or
that's actually videos. The foundation of what I stand against, putting your word on what you heard. You actually putting your word on what you heard right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Yeah. Because you can't, and the reason why we know it's dangerous, if you're a martial art, you know this, you can't look at what we do and replicate it. You cannot. And we can
you think you can,
right? We could show you 100 times, and you will not.
We can show you in your face a technique, and you got it absolutely wrong because you're trying to go by visual,
and it'll look the same.
Right.
It'll look just like ours. So there's no way if you ain't done it, it is no way for you to know that technique until you do it. There's no get it done to you. You can't really know it. What's that sport where they run around slapping each other on the chest? I just want to know.
I don't know what that.
If anybody in the chat know, please tell us what that's for.
Slap each other.
I need to know the rules. How? I just want to know how it's played. I'm so interested. You jump into slapping each other. Why do I have to let you slap?
It ain't just pity pat though.
No. I'm talking slapping like this.
They leaping, slapping.
I gotta know why you have to let that person slap me right there. Why can't you just move immediately? Why are they taking slaps? Like, I need the rules.
Maybe some manhood ritual.
I need the rules of that damn sport.
So I ain't seen no sisters do it.
Exactly, and they ain't. But in fact, they ain't allowed.
What about Chinese wrestling? That's what we're dealing with. You must have came in late.
They did come in.
So we're dealing with Shuai Jiao, freestyle wrestling, which we're about to get into technique, and we're getting into Laamb. That's African magic. Now what? The people that's doing the slap, they're not even African. I think they're from India.
Yeah, I think that's an Indian thing. Is there a way? I know if I stop cam, that stops the whole cam. But can I? Is it a way to black screen wise switch it up?
No.
Okay, we just gonna switch the camera when we get ready to go.
All right, so Yeah, we're about to turn into it. All right. So we're gonna. I have a blade here. Unless you got.
Okay, go ahead.
Unless you got a metal one.
Yeah, I got the metal one.
All right. So you can do this at home with somebody. You go over the video again. You can use a short stick, training knife, something like that. A butter knife if you want to. I would advise you not to use a straight up sharp knife until you get very proficient. But we're about to switch now around. We have to move this around just because of the other monitor is not here today.
The jankiest show in town.
Mic sound better. My mic sound nice.
And here we go.
My mic sound nice. Right. My mic, make sure the mic's still in there.
Yeah, we said
last time they couldn't hear us for a couple minutes.
We are still plugged in.
All right, so first we're gonna deal with freestyle wrestling. And again, we have one more person in here to work with, but so.
For the throwing part or for the camera?
What to talk through the steps because I want to break this down so it's easier understood.
I got you.
But I have the knife. So Belay grabs my wrist. He grabs my wrist. He also puts his head on this side. Put it in here. And he's going to pass. So, this hand is free. Now, he can put it around here or whatever, but he can always use it. This hand, he wants to control it. He don't want me to stab him, so he's keeping it back, right? So he's controlling it. Now, this hand comes across to my elbow. He brings it to my elbow and tricep, okay? And he's keeping his head in here. Now, you see me doing this because I'm actually, I got to control myself. I'm thinking as I come back.
Exactly.
But so you can see the technique of freestyle. So they would grab the elbow. Then he would pass it across. Let me turn this. Yeah. He's going to pass it across to his far hip. And that brings him behind it. Okay.
It's still.
Right. So even if I hit, I'm not getting much off on them. I'm getting the hard bones here, right? Now, he's still controlling it. From there, he has me here. Now he reaches around my waist with this hand, so he lets go, but he keeps that wrist. He reaches around. And now he reaches with this arm, pinning me here, S grip.
Oh.
S-Y, with your fingers.
S-lock with my fingers.
In case I'm big, like if I can
okay. You'd have to
and
like
so
this.
he has this bit. He has this. You don't have to because depending on what you want to do.
Right.
So from here, he could bring his hips against my hips and
drop back,
throw me, or he could get behind me and extend his leg. Let me step back some. Extend this leg, so don't come all the way behind. Just get a little to the side. Extend that leg out like that.
This one right here.
Right. And then he could bring me over that leg and throw me.
Yeah.
He's still holding
right
onto this arm, so I can't use it. So that would be what they would use. The only weakness in that, when that's done, no matter what grip he uses, is this arm here. I have this hand is free. I can't really hit him or anything, but I can pull this up, and once I do, I can turn, and now I can cut it. So that's the weakness of that.
That's very weak. If that's
So
the case.
that is the case with freestyle, right?
Which is a sport that was not created for war. It was just created for what it was created for. So that's expected.
But there are people who
don't
teach it for self-defense. So
don't take that class.
I'm just speaking on.
I didn't even know that people take freestyle wrestling.
Oh yeah,
really? That's bad.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking of the principle of it. It ain't even got no.
Yeah.
It's to hold you down.
Well, that's what people working with what they got, and so they don't.
And fights end up on the ground. So you're like, well, wrestling got to be good if fights end up on the ground.
Now, this one, Shuai Jiao, is going to deal with from the slash going all the way into it. So.
And the reason why we compare them to we put them to the test with these tools is because that's what matters as far as combat.
Okay, so no, you're gonna come in. You see your camera says no. That's yes. So he's slashing with a number 2. They're going to block. Once they block here, they bring down an overhook. Okay. And they bring an underhook here. So he's caught. I'm under this arm. I'm over this arm. And I'm pinning this arm. So you can't get the stab. I'm controlling so you can't reach with the other hand to try to grab it, trying to be slick or whatever. And then this side, still pinning it, I pin his knee. And I bring this arm up on this side. This is Shuai Jiao. What they would do is they come down.
And, I see that.
And they bring them down, and I still have the knife there. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's what they would do. Then I would just strip that from them, or drive a knee on them.
A little bit better.
So once again, he does it. Boom. Here, under. This hand stays up. They don't really grab like that. So this hand, fingers. The palm is out, fingers up, slide to this knee. I still have the knife. It's under my arm, so I have it at his wrist here. Then I can drive the knee down, punch, what have you, right? Or get my own tool.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Okay. So that is Shuai Jiao. And if you do any of these arts, you can talk to us. And if you want to come on the show and show other ways,
let us know. Hey, that ain't you missing the. Let us know about it. Let us know.
Now,
send this to your friend that does Shuai Jiao. Let them look at it. Tell them. Let us know you're missing something.
Okay. Now this, and I'm just doing the basic technique. I'm not going to do it because he's biased and he's doing. This is actually how we work. Okay, so I go against number 2 slash is too easy. It doesn't care. Thrust, whatever you want to do, it really don't matter. But I don't care. Okay, we can do it that way. So from here, after he's pulled, that's almost too easy too. That's almost too easy. Okay, I pull him into.
So you've seen that before.
And I'm about right. You've seen that.
Freestyle wrestling just did
or that. You say, well, what about like Shuai Jiao, number 2? Same thing. See, saying it's not much difference. So now from here in Laamb, we do a lot of throws by going thigh to thigh.
Off balance.
Thigh to thigh. And then we do what's called a whip over. That means I just cut the corner with it.
Before you do this, I just want to say, just versus the last 2, notice he got my arm is completely controlled. There's less movement in this way of grabbing than there was before. And he's not grabbing nothing down here. He don't need nothing else. He's only using the rest of his body.
And this is being polyrhythmic.
Exactly.
So I'm not allowing him to be able to use this.
Nope.
Shit.
I don't have a lot of movement in that.
And from here, I turn the corner, it goes over. Now,
Before the knife was close to his body, it was a chance for something to happen. I didn't say nothing. It was a chance something to happen with his knife under his arm. That's dangerous.
mm-hmm.
This, not so much. He got a pretty good.
And now from here, he's thrown, and then I bring him over onto his belly.
Control.
And from there, I drop the knee onto his kidneys, what have you. Bring this over, slap his shoulder. He said tap, tap, because that's doing damage to his shoulder. I could keep it there if I wanted to and continue to do work. Put that into his liver. Okay. So different things that we could do from there.
More
That's Laamb. Laamb also, since I know it better than the others, he comes with the number 2.
Ooh, they got to see that. Hold on. They got to see that. Let me bring that back up for y'all. Let me bring that up for y'all. Check that out.
And from here, he's saying tap because that's
before the throw.
going against it. That's right. And the throw goes.
Whip over.
So this is the whip over. This is also
A bad, nasty.
So, and the throw is not in this lift. It's this leg kicking his thigh. Remember, thigh against thigh. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm not gonna actually do it. But it's here. That
take your space,
and
boy.
I keep this.
I would have flew.
I keep that straight, right?
If you don't feel this, it ain't no way you know what this is like right here. There's no way they know.
And if he tries to reach for something else, I grab that.
It's control.
And then I take it.
That's nasty. This over the shoulder, pop, and then it's pulling my back out in a certain way. All this is being tore up from a throw.
It's funny. When I first moved to Atlanta, they asked us to do a demonstration. Well, they paid us to do a demonstration at what do you call it? Greenbrier.
Mm.
So they got a stage at Greenbrier that they build. Or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So they had paid us to come there and teach the workshop. Well, not a workshop, but do a demonstration because people hadn't seen indigenous African martial arts in Atlanta at all.
Right.
The capoeira community was angry. They said these brothers were there, the only African martial art is capoeira. First of all, you're ignorant as shit if you think that. I'm not going to even speak on whether capoeira is African or not. I'll let them do that because we're going to be having a capoeira master on here probably in 2 weeks. I talked to him already. So.
Trying to get an MMA fight on here too from my hometown.
Cool. So
UFC fight.
I'll let him speak on that. But what I will, if it is from Africa, if it came from the center of Africa and 50 million people in Africa did it, it still wouldn't be the only African martial art. Right. So that was ignorant. They said that, but unfortunately, it cost my student Kunle getting thrown like that.
Right. Oh, yeah,
prove a point. I said, what? So Kunle came in. I caught him in the exact throw. Boom! Them dudes, they walked off. Well, first I said, y'all can come up. They got on the hell up out of there. They got out of there, right?
They danced on out of there.
They danced out of there. So Kali is screaming. Okay. Thank you for that. I'm gonna look into it. Somebody said Kali is dope. Yes. So, and we may be a screamer. I know so many screamer doors. One of my best friends, Big Mike Appleton, is a screamer instructor.
Definitely should bring show them the stick. So that stick fighting.
Yeah, stick, knife, you know. Did y'all see Roadhouse? You talking about the new one? Yes.
I haven't seen it yet.
Saw the new one.
Said the whole Roadhouse is filled with Conor McGregor walking around like this the whole
time.
Yeah,
it is hilarious. His walk is hilarious. But some people are saying, it doesn't compare to the old one. Stop it. This nostalgia thing. I'm with nostalgia. But come on, like the fanboys with the, this show has to be exactly like the comic book I read in 1982.
Oh,
Stop
that get on my
it.
nerves that
Stop it. Stop it. Because number one, most of the people watching it, it ain't you. It's younger folk who want a more updated thing. And so they're going to change your beloved 1982 comic book partner. And so Roadhouse was changed. I like them both.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I prefer this one.
I want to check it out.
But I like them both. But, you know, and it's up to you. And I don't feel guilty saying that. And I'm not getting into debates with you about no damn film.
I refuse to watch the other version of Footloose that they did. I refuse.
No,
I was only one Footloose.
I was violent. If they made it, the first Footloose, I saw it one time. That was enough. Kevin Bacon, shout out to Kevin Bacon. That's the only bacon I deal with other than turkey bacon. And so, you know, I don't need
and that's
that.
only within 6 degrees. I don't deal with it directly.
Right. Kevin Bacon can't come over to my house and have turkey bacon.
Right.
I like the redeeming righteous message. Only thing groundbreaking was a non-Bollywood flick with all Indian in cast.
Okay.
Only thing groundbreaking was a non-Bollywood flick.
I do want to see Monkey Man though.
Yeah, I want to see Monkey Man. I haven't seen Monkey Man, but is that out?
I think it just came out.
Okay. All right. So, happy Saturday to you, CBC voter. Now, those, and that's just against one technique. So you're not going to get the whole of the martial art, but I wanted to do it against a tool so you'll know self-defense wise, this is one of the scariest situations you can be in against a knife.
And there's no need to go through if it's this
right, everything.
Once you put your holes in this,
right. So
deal with that.
So we're gonna grade them now, and you can grade them too.
Yeah,
so once again, to show again, I'll go through all with the freestyle. We just started off. He grabbed here. It could be against a staff or whatever. A lot of people get afraid they'll just grab.
Let's be honest. Freestyle wrestlers don't have a technique to stop the knife. They don't have a technique to grab the knife.
So they have technique though.
Yeah.
And so
Baba is using their technique where they may not even use it. But he's showing they do have this in their toolbox. They may not use it like this, but they should.
Right. So they're here. As it's coming across here, you can cut yourself, but you push it to him. And now, once I'm here, and I'm grabbing like a Laamb person, really.
Right. They wouldn't even grab like that.
You know, you're here, and then you're here, S grip, like that. And then you can just throw or throw. Okay.
Just think about this, y'all.
Yeah, you can just, or you know, not even that. He ain't even got to switch. He just like I did, just pop this hand up.
Just a little bit.
And now you turn. Now turn.
Oh, damn, all that's open up.
Even if I have it gripped here. See, I can't stop that. So that's the only thing about that. So that's
get your guts cut open. That's the only thing about freestyle.
Now, Shuai Jiao. Okay. Boom. Overhook. Underhook. Hand to the back of the knee. Throw.
Be careful right there.
Okay.
Boy, that ending part.
Be careful right there.
I thought about that the day us falling and this thing being shaky. I sure did.
All right. So now, and then Laamb, same you did here.
More check.
Thigh to thigh, take over, boom, whip over, and then you pin him.
There wasn't an opportunity in that for me to get to him. It just wasn't available. Even when he had me down in the Shuai Jiao, I could try to adjust this a little bit, or just a fall could have still damaged him some.
Yes. So this is where we're at here.
Yeah, I don't have a chance. And if he do this really, when he do this the way he would do it, that's a blow. When this comes to his chest, it's a blow and pulling my arm out.
Right.
The tool probably gonna come out right then. With that boom right there.
And thigh to thigh.
Oh, I'm flying.
That's even more.
That's pain.
And then once you turn, he's definitely flying.
Nothing else put me in pain to make me distract me from what my mission, my pleasure.
So we're gonna grade them. I'm gonna tell you how the grades work. Can you bring this around?
We sure can. As biased as we are, y'all just seen that for yourself. So I mean, of course we are biased, but dang, I ain't even trying to be that biased. This is just, it's bad, man. This is bad. This is not good. Sort of like our production setup. It's just not good, y'all. It's just not good.
All right, so let's make sure that's in there. All right.
All right, here we go. Where we at?
All right, so we're judging on a scale of A to F. Let me see, the comments are gone. There we go. So nothing like a good arm drag. I love arm drags.
Yes.
So we're judging on a scale of A to F. What we give each wrestling style's methodology. Okay. So A is very effective and efficient. Okay. B is effective and efficient. Not very effective, but effective and efficient. C, effective or efficient.
Right.
It can be effective, but it's not efficient. It's efficient, but it's not effective. D, workable with a lot of tweaking or mixing with something else. F, ineffective and inefficient. So,
I think
first, freestyle wrestling.
I think I should judge first because yours is the ultimate.
Well, it ain't the ultimate, but
I mean, in this case, right.
So freestyle wrestling, what would you give it?
I want to say first, I don't think any of these are Fs. So I just want to say that I don't think wrestling in itself is an F for what I've ever seen. So I'm going to give freestyle wrestling a D. It is workable, but with a lot, not even a little. It would take a lot of tweaking and mixing. You even heard Baba say, I'm grabbing like a Laamb with like a Laamb grab. That's because it ain't got a good grab. So yes, I believe it's a D for freestyle wrestling. I'm gonna give it a D.
Okay. Freestyle wrestling, I would give it.
You want to say F? You trying?
No, definitely not an F. Yeah, D, workable with a lot of tweaking. I want to give it a B, but
you can't. In good conscience, you can't do it.
So yeah, workable with a lot of tweaking. We're talking about for self-defense now,
right?
Not for the ring.
No. It's for the street.
And we're not talking adding in the endurance and athleticism that they have. But even if you add all that, and you can't,
then you got to add the endurance and athleticism of someone trained in something combative.
Right, exactly.
So you're in the same playing field again.
Right. So I get that a D. Okay, so now Shuai Jiao.
Shuai Jiao. That sounds like a sound more than it sounds like an art. Shuai Jiao. I did not mean it like that, but it does.
Oh no, that's racist. But okay, go ahead.
So for Shuai Jiao, I actually think that it was as being as open as I can. I'm being dead serious. I think it's and I'm not just talking about what we just did. I've been looking at it since we've done this. I want to give this a B, and I cannot. Because I see where it's effective sometimes, and I see sometimes where those are efficient. But in combat, I can't say that they both exist at the same time. I didn't see that dealing with in a combative way. So I have to give it I got to give it a C. I got to give it a C.
So Shuai Jiao, self-defense, where we're putting tools into play. I give it a C. But unarmed, I would give it a B.
All day. All day. We ain't got no tools. All day. Life don't work like that, though.
Now, lumber.
No, the funny thing, now, Laamb is the exact opposite. I want to give this a B, so it don't seem like we boosting it so much. I want to give. I'm telling y'all, I want to do that for the show. I want to do it for the show because I know what we look like. I know what we sound like. I know it, and I'm intelligent enough to know I don't want to sound like that. But I'm also going to be as honest as possible with y'all. I gotta keep it funky. And yes, y'all know what we're gonna say, man. You get an A for African, goddamn. Look at what we just. I mean, he controlled the arm, the tool from the beginning to the end. At no time, once he got polyrhythmic application on that, it stayed there. You know what I'm saying? Until I was on my belly. And I don't even recall being on my belly for I wasn't. It rendered me more defenseless. It had me more under control. I had no way to get that tool out. Before, there were opportunities for me to cut or get my tool free. I had no opportunity to do that. That only means that it's very effective. It's very efficient. He used minimum strength. You see minimum effort to get me on the ground. Before, he had both arms and then took his arm and going around my leg, go up and back. And he had to do that. Grab my arm, stuck his leg out, whipped me over. That was very simple.
Now, I reserve the right to not vote on this one.
But more importantly, man, we would want to see what you guys honestly vote. Would actually vote seeing this. And maybe we'll do a post like that.
That's cold. I mean, the special code too, he said Shuai Jiao sounds like a comic book sound effect. Y'all cold, man. I'm stepping away from all that. I'm stepping away from it, y'all. Y'all cold.
You're right. Once we get him started, he ain't gonna stop. So we know we gotta.
But yeah, I'm not gonna vote on it because it does seem biased. You already gave it an A. So I say I agree. I'll agree with what you said.
Hey, it's hard, man. It's hard, but it's fair. So.
But I will say this honestly. I wouldn't spend 50 years in shit that I felt it wasn't not just valuable, but very valuable, and not just for me, but for our people.
Not just that, Bob.
I couldn't spend 50. That's from my marriage to
years. In those 50 years, you've applied.
Right.
Right. So it ain't too many people say, I've been doing this for 50 years. I've had to use this. Right. It's been successful for me out here. Most folks can't even say that. Well, whatever they do.
Out here and elsewhere. Yes. Right. So in most martial arts, their litmus test, that's why MMA has become a litmus test, because it's the only place where most martial artists ever use what they have against a resisting opponent. That's in the ring. And I don't feel that's a litmus test because that is so far from reality. And any of you all who have been out here and attacked, you'll know the ring is nothing like it. The ring you get, I've been in both. I've been in the ring. Adrenaline is pumping.
Yeah.
Your stomach nervous. Sometimes you feel like you want to shit on yourself. Some people have shitted on themselves in the ring while fighting. Gross, but they have.
Yeah.
Not me either. And I'd be damned. I'd leave and give them the fight before I shit on myself, embarrass myself like that. But anyway, you feel that nervousness. You feel the elation of victory.
I know what you're about to say. I know you're going, but you don't.
I don't know about the defeat. I was never beaten in the ring, but I can imagine what it feels like.
Right.
Okay. People I'm close to have been defeated in the ring. So they know what it feels like. I hate to say, because that seems like, boasting, but I'm not boasting. It's the truth. I haven't been beaten in the ring. I haven't been beaten out here. because out here it's higher stakes than the ring, by the
Right.
way. But out there, one thing I have done though, I have successfully defended myself every time I've had to, but every time after. Well, not every time. Several times after, I felt the adrenaline didn't just go away after the fight, and now I'm talking to an audience about how the fight went. The adrenaline is still up. I'm still nervous. You cry sometimes. You want to cry. Even though I defeated my opponent, it's just the tension was so high, and now it's gone. And so this is what you have the grasp on. And then when I stopped doing that, started wondering if I had mental issues because it didn't bother me as much. That is what you deal with there.
Right. It's not a life.
But not in the ring.
Most people don't have a life and death thing that goes off in the head in the ring.
Right.
And that's that's a totally different feeling when you are approached or attacked out here.
And that, so the true feeling of fear is not in the ring. It's
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
Even no matter how skilled you are, because fear is a signal against great bodily harm or impending death.
Somebody saying we lying. I'm not in the chat, but I understand what they mean. Yes, fear. You may have fear in the ring. It's not the same fear.
It's not fear. It's worry. It's worry.
You worry about you.
Now you may, and if you're in the ring, you worry. If you do get the fear, it's once they got your ass in an arm bar, and you worrying about great bodily harm, getting your arm broken. Right. But not when you standing like this. Right. And if you are feeling fear there, your ass shouldn't have been in the ring.
Right.
When you get knocked out, it's too quick for you to feel fear about that. You get knocked out, you didn't even see it coming. You don't know.
Usually it's once your eyes open that the fear starts.
Right.
Oh shit. What happened?
Right. You don't know you got knocked out when you get knocked out. My wife knocked me out in class one time. Not with a punch. My wife could never, she probably watching the show, my wife could never knock me out with no punch. Okay? No, I'm just joking. Anybody can knock you out, they catch you right in the right circumstance. But she choked me out. We trained. Grappling, boom, she got behind me. And to be honest, I'm taking it for granted because I'm just going to toss her. So she behind me, and I'm letting her work. Like, what you gonna do? Playing around and shit. But she ain't playing. She ain't playing. What you gonna do? I got your arm. What you gonna do? And she stopped, wrapped around my neck. I said, "What you gonna do?" I woke up. I'm sitting down. My shoulders woke me up. They jerked, right? I said, she over there training with somebody else now. I said, really, baby, you gonna knock me out? Just leave me sitting there? He said, well, I know you're gonna wake up. Really? That's how you do me? So that, I didn't have time to be scared. I was like, oh shit, I'm about to pass out. I was gone. I was out. Me, Kalanji, and this sister Jamazo are training out in West End Park. I decided, since it's just the three of us, I'm gonna share. Collar tie choke with them. So you collar tie this hand, instead of lion's mouth, it's a lion's cub. I go to the side of his neck, and you bring the collar tie in. The collar tie goes against the chest. You got them trapped. It's nasty. And so I showed Jamazo. I said, Jamazo, you go with Kalanja. So Jamazo go, 5 foot tall sister. She grabs Kalanja. Kalanja out. I grab him. I bring him too. So I said, Kalanja, you work with me, right? So he grabs. Okay, yeah, that's it. Collar tie right there. Yeah. I said, hands there. I said, put more pressure with the collar tie. Put more, yeah, that's it. You got it there. I'm getting ready to tap. I woke up, I'm sitting on the bench. Yes, I am. Knocked me cold out. But I look over Kalanja like, no, he wasn't like that. But he was like, oh my God, oh, that's really what woke me up. He's like, oh my, I'm like, that was a good one, brother. And he's like, this mother crazy. I had knocked him out, and he's just like, good one. No, because it was good technique. I knew. I said, he got me. But I thought I had time to tap. I didn't have time to bring my goddamn. And so you are not in a situation where you're safe and it's controlled, because that was still controlled.
Right.
Fear doesn't come in. If I'm walking down the street and a mug grab me like that,
you're scared to death.
Right, and I'm fighting before you even get that, right? So what the hell?
That's how it sounds.
That's how it goes. Hey, what the hell? Is it high? Speaking right. Where you take these two and you're just saying all kinds of shit. Well, that's how it really happens out there.
Yes.
Right? You ain't doing fine motor jive. You're not doing fine motor technique. Let me find the Hegel cavity.
Right.
I got to find the Hegel cavity. That's not happening like that because that's fine motor.
Them touch is not gonna work.
You go gross motor.
I manifesto to answer your question, not just for Baba. Nobody fights better or deals with a violent encounter better enraged. Now I can understand how you feel if you know Baba's enraged and coming for you. You may feel like he's gonna do more to you, but if he's calm coming to you, you probably should be a lot more.
Now
afraid.
they see me enraged. You all have two problems. On here when we first started, but
maybe they saw you slightly,
yeah,
and that was still controlled.
But when I'm ready to attack somebody, it's never that. Like I told you, when I told the dude I'll eat his soul when he was like, give me $5, give me some money. I said, I don't have no money, brother. So beat your ass. I'll eat your soul. That's how I am. I'm totally calm and I mean what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that dude was like.
And that's me. That's it.
Walk the hell off.
I'm actually like this until I'm really mad. Then when I'm quiet. Right. Okay. I got you.
All right.
Now I'm ready to do something to you.
So if you're in a person fighting in rage, to me is funny.
Yeah, I want you in rage.
Going crazy. Oh, buddy. That always reminds me of a white person. Yeah, buddy.
Right now.
Yeah. You think you can knock me out, buddy? I do. A dude told me, you think you can knock me out, buddy? I absolutely do. And knocked him out. Right. His friends picking him up. Dude comes to
crazy advantage.
I'm teaching children at
No,
right. I'm teaching at this place they call it Perry Homes. Perry Home is a project, but it wasn't called the place wasn't called Perry Home. It's called Capital Area Mosaic. And it's a nonprofit. I'm teaching martial arts there to about 200 children. One person teaching 200. This is why I started teaching other adults to be instructors, because one person teaching 200, I was losing my mind. So they're all sitting in the auditorium, right? And I got the pad there. These white people just come into the hood and they work with the black children, these wealthy white folks, they work with the poor black children. Okay. So I didn't like that anyway, but I ain't gonna say nothing, hey, they giving money to Capital Area Mosaic, hey, do your thing. But what you don't do, or how folks say what you not gonna do, is come in my class and try to outman me. So this dude named Todd. And how do I remember it? Because the dude, as I was whooping his ass, his friend was screaming, Todd, run, Todd! Get out there, Todd! So Todd says, hey, like that, not how you doing, sir, whatever. See, I'm teaching martial arts to these children who respect me. Hey, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Oh. How does your African martial arts stand against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I said, well, it's funny you ask stand, because don't y'all be on the ground all the time? I said, so if you against me, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is going to be exactly where it wants to be, on the ground. Like that. He said, oh, so you're saying you would knock me down? I said, well, you'd be comfortable if you were on the ground, wouldn't you? So yeah, I'm just going to put you in your comfort zone. So he said, so I'm thinking that's it, He said, he stands in the middle of the mat. I said, you really want to do this? I said, okay, let's do it. So the children, it's like, and I just got fueled. Listen to these babies, and they're expecting me to make black folk proud. And so I had a whole different mission from Todd. Todd gonna represent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and whoop this black man's ass.
You represent all black folks to the children,
said,
to the babies.
Right. I said, now, what's your rank? Todd at brown belt.
Ooh.
Now, brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's high because they got white, that's you just started, blue, purple and brown, and then black.
Okay.
So they don't shit. Somebody purple belt been training about 4 years. Brown belt, shit, about 5-6 years. Black belt, more, and they been competing a lot.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, cool. Let's do this. I knocked him down. I put my shins on his belly. He's trying to get out. I'm punching the shit out of him. I switched from my shins on his belly to my knee in his liver. He is now just wailing in pain. I'm still not letting him up because he ain't said the magic tap, tap, tap or taps. So he's not getting up. I'm whooping his ass. His boys, Todd! First person says, don't hurt him too bad, Todd. So, Todd, Todd, get out of there, Todd! Todd! Run, Todd! Todd! I said, Todd, I'm looking, as I'm holding him, I said, Todd can't run. Todd is finished.
A mission from God on Todd.
Todd is finished. So I'm just bop, 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 bop. And the student, and so I'm getting more and more pumped up. So then now I transition to a mount, right, to look good to a job, right? And then I catch Todd in a brush lock and dislocate Todd's shoulder. Todd, I was about to do the other one. And the dude said, tap, Todd! Todd, tap! Now I'm like, Todd, I said, Todd know how to tap. He does jiu-jitsu. They tap. He said, tap! I said, okay. I said, take Todd out of here. You took Todd out, and I look up at the children, just like that. I said, all right, children, y'all can go on to the next class. And they got up and went to the next class. They, hey, hugging me and shit.
That would be a great feeling.
And I'm just like, yeah. And I was as Capoeira Mosaic for about 5 years. I just stopped going. I couldn't keep dividing my time between my own school and other places. And it was so much so as I walked. So I would walk from Capoeira Mosaic to 5 Points, which is about 3 miles. Good walk. As I'm walking through the projects, people, man, you teach my little brother. I said, hey, man, he loves it, man. I'm going to have to go by there and see you. People who work, certain things on the street. Man, when you need a ride or something? I said, no, I'm taking the train. Here, man, take this for your train fare. $100.
Prostitutes, hey.
Well, no. Prostitutes, I made it take a day to another. So
they respected it though.
Yeah, everybody. Hey, this is my son's teacher right here. They telling people on the boards with him. It was just really beautiful. It would take me forever to get because I'm stopping talking with folks and we chilling. People, hey, I baked some cake. You want some cake? Sure, I'll take some. It was like
that's
that.
How the community used to be right there.
Now, if I got my ass whooped, first of all, I'd have took a taxi home because I would not have walked through there. Oh, pussy ass, they'd have dogged me.
So,
but
I see what made a comment. I know this was a joke, but this is some
tapping Todd. Yes.
They say if you're comfortable in your masculinity and don't have an ego, pretend you're scared and scream like a girl in bed. Now it's funny you say that, but one of the things we do train, if somebody was to pull a gun and pull it up to your head, we do train to be afraid of that moment, to look afraid.
Right.
You don't want to pull up a gun on your head and be like, oh, what now, nigga? that ain't what you do. Somebody pull a gun to your head. Shoot me.
Or headbutt the gun.
Yeah. I used to be that guy who pull a gun at me. What you gonna do? What you gonna shoot me? That's not me because now I don't really want to die. So you put a gun in my head and I'm gonna be like, man, please, this right before I move. I want you to feel like I surrender. There's no way this guy's gonna boop. It's already done.
We had a workshop one time and somebody said, what do you do? Somebody say, give me your wallet. Here, you got my wallet. I said, now if that's my last $100 and you're gonna get kicked out of our place if I don't, get. I
remember that. I got that on tape. I'm not gonna say what you should do. I don't know if I'm giving up the wallet now.
and what I did was I said, here, threw the wallet at my feet. Everybody laughing like, yeah, really? I said, that's exactly what the person robbing gonna be like, really, dude? Come on. I'm not reaching down for that. So, I would give it up. But if that's my last, like I said, I hate to say stuff because don't follow me in that one. You do what you feel best.
Yeah.
Todd went and threw that sweat gi into the into the garbage. I know he didn't throw away the guy. He probably just said that guy.
right.
That guy's exceptional.
It's just that guy.
That guy.
It's not the martial arts. It's him.
Right.
It's him.
The 1 in 10,000. He's one. He's an exception.
Never find another black guy like that.
Yeah. He just.
They're all trying to be too cool. That one guy.
So that, and I'd like to know where you all grade those 3 arts. If you don't want to, say you have to hit us up on at Warrior Class BPM on Instagram privately.
Exactly. And I hope we got at least 130 likes when we.
Yeah, so make sure the map is mapping.
Yeah, YouTube be trying to get us, so we need y'all help. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they
so
don't want to pay us.
Those are YouTube views. And so it says 129 people looking right now. We'll go to the views, 130. We'll go to the views and it'll say 13.
Yeah, like 40
views,
people. Like,
40 views. Like, hey,
130 people watching us.
Right. So
that's
don't
crazy.
do it.
That's not including the
that's not including
social
Facebook.
media and different things. Yeah.
So don't do it, don't do it YouTube. But hey, but I looked it up and they said if you're getting a lot of people coming in back to back, they don't get
keep up with it.
Right. So what they can keep up with though, amazingly, is the likes. So let the map be mapping. Hit that like button, y'all.
We appreciate it. We need it.
Yes, we definitely need it.
But yeah. So
so thank you all. This was great. We respect the 3 martial arts that we did. That's why we respect them as wrestling guys. That's why we brought them on.
It's wrestling now, especially.
Freestyle wrestling, I love it.
Yes.
He used to do it. He loves it. But as self-defense,
it's like I love boxing. We are fans of boxing. We watch all
and MMA. You're not using either one of those.
Right. I'm talking about we're fans. I'm gonna try to get Derek Brunson on the show. And just ask him about, just what it's like being an MMA fighter, what you go through, and then ask him what he thinks translates. Get his opinion on stuff. Man, we are fans, but we also practical, realistic people.
And we're talking about a sister who is one of the greatest boxers. Greatest boxers. I didn't say women boxers. She probably the, but one of the greatest boxers in history. We're talking about getting her on.
Thank you, Sandra.
And that can happen. It's looking like that's going to happen for us. When we do, we'll ask her the same thing.
Right.
Do you feel boxing is effective for the street? And if so, what techniques make it effective? Okay. I feel footwork wise.
Oh yeah.
That boxing footwork is used, and it definitely can up your self-defense game.
If we don't even know we're using it, we use them some boxing footwork sometimes. And if y'all don't mind, how about go right over?
Now I didn't say Clarissa. I didn't say who it is.
That's not what he said.
I'm just
But it ain't Ann Wolf.
Now I love Ann Wolf,
but
no. And Ann Wolf. If you say, well, she's bigger than Clarissa Shields. And Wolf, personality-wise, and being able to get her to just come on, I think is probably more difficult.
That's what I was saying, like, because she's a bigger,
and she's not trying to just be out there talking like
right. That's why I said it ain't her. Like Ann Wolf don't do interviews, right. And she don't be out there like that. So
right. And Ann Wolf's daughter and I are friends. We became friends because I wrote an article on Ann Wolf talking about how much I loved her and how I felt the fight between her and Layla Ali would have gone.
Oh,
and I jumped in the comments, the article. She jumped on and commented on it, and we've been cool ever since.
That's what's up.
So, thank you, Emmanuel Briggs. Everybody, be safe. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and
we appreciate y'all, man.
And Wolf was a bad chick, yes.
And also, this solar eclipse thing happening. We don't know what's supposed to happen besides it being the eclipse, but just be aware, have your awareness.
And if you stay in the house during the eclipse, play the clips. play that music. Play, while you doing it. So be safe, as Emmanuel Briggs said. Be safe out there. Stay black, or whatever it is that you may be.
Yes.
Love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Next week, we'll have 2 monitors again.
We will.
And we may have another gadget hooked up where you're able to see all over the place.
Yes, we're going to try to work. We're trying to work it.
So we're trying to, yes.
We are not trying. We're improving. Slowly, but sure.
Now, what happened to that boy? I don't know which boy.
Clips. What happened?
Oh, the clips.
Oh. Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, y'all. Be safe out there. She would have given Layla a reality check.
Yeah.
I would, if I find the article, I'll actually post the article on here.
Thank you. So this is really fun. Y'all were great. Well, I've always thought I was, but just to hear somebody else say it, it really does a lot for me right now. So thank you.
Thank y'all so much, and shout out to Layla Ali. And we ain't dogging her, but
no, we love Layla Ali too.
But
yeah,
she was
one of the greatest.
Yeah,
she's one of the greatest.
Yeah.
We put you in one of the greatest.
And we love her daddy too.
Yeah, exactly.
He was one of the top 3 fighters.
Yeah, I'm starting to like that Bumble. What's her name?
Bumbleclot.
I
know you talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. Bumble Gardner.
Bumble Gardner or something like that.
She's nice. She is nice. She got a lot of power. Her technique is very good.
I don't think she's gonna give Claressa Shields the business.
She's too small. They can't fight.
Well, she's talking about fight. That's what right. She's talking about going up in class.
She'll be like a $120. Like women can't do like men can do and just eat a bunch of bananas and jump up. Like they got to regulate that a lot better than we do. That's gonna be hard, man. Yeah. Even though women do hold more fat than we do.
Now there are a couple of sisters who fight in MMA that I would like to get on here too.
Well, let's put that out there. Let's get the audience to try to work for us. If y'all could go to Derek Brunson's website, we appreciate you. Go to his IG and say, hey, come to Warrior Class.
Case,
that's what we gotta do.
What's the brother who just fought? Got knocked out by Anthony Joshua.
Oh
my God, that's terrible.
You wouldn't have said that. If you wouldn't have said that, I would just said
Francis Ngannou.
Gee,
y'all know Francis Ngannou? Bring him on. Hell, Anthony Joshua. Talk to him.
Y'all ain't got to know him. Just go to the IG page. Say, hey, man, Warrior Class. Want you on that Warrior Class. It's the best podcast in the world. Why are you going to that show? That's not a podcast. It's the internet show. But
right.
Tell them about
bring hell, that's okay. Denzel.
Y'all need to get on these folks' pages and tell them that you want them on Warrior Class. Demand,
right.
That we demand you get on
Denzel, who's born Denzel, is always talking about, we're always playing warriors.
There you go.
And he's about to be in the new Gladiator playing a warrior. So, hey.
What better show?
Hey, Denzel.
Tell him.
And we'll call you Denzel, your birth name.
We'll call you birth name. That's what you want.
Right.
Hey.
So, Denzel on. Trump.
There you go.
Bring Trump on. Bring Trump on here. I'm going to tear into him. But... you know how many numbers we would get? Unfortunately, it's sad that we would get more numbers.
I wouldn't let you attack
Trump.
I wouldn't let you attack Trump. We just want to do technique. That's all we want to do.
Technique with Trump.
Technique with Trump.
Now we get Trump.
Whoa, you know what kind of show that? Techniques with Trump.
He'll be like, well, I've done millions and millions of techniques. And I don't want to hurt these 2 guys. But
nobody knows more about techniques than me.
Right. Nobody knows more about techniques than me. So I'm going to go ahead and work these techniques on these guys. Now, if I get my ass whooped by Trump, that will never. Whoop! I hit the button.
Either way, the views.
But the views will be good.
But
hell, I don't want to be the sacrificial man getting whooped by Trump.
No, we got. No,
Trump is not going to whoop my ass.
No, if Trump whoop your ass, we got.
I'm gonna quit.
You got to.
I'm gonna quit teaching. I'm gonna quit martial arts.
And then Donald Trump gonna run the African martial arts institute if Bobby Lewis.
Once again, I own African martial arts institute now, and it'll be huge. $1 million facility. We don't want Trump on here, but if he said I go on the show and work technique, I would work technique with Trump.
Of course I would.
Right. I'm really, 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 really good at it. I'm the best there is out here.
Nobody's better than you.
if I beat one of you guys, you have to wear my gold shoes. All right, y'all. Yeah, Francis oh no, he said, what's it? Ngannou. Oh no, that's cold. That's cold. Don't do that. Don't do that. But Ann can beat up dudes, yes, and Will can beat dudes, yes.
Thank you very much.
And will coach dudes.
Yes. Thank you. We appreciate that, man. We really appreciate the people who are telling us this is a good show. And we appreciate the love. We love you too, man. We really appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Laughing aloud, you make my day funny. Trump, no, exactly. I
Baba,
love you too, Sandra. All right, y'all.
Be safe, yo. Damn, it's already 3:20, 23.
Oh, shit. All right, y'all. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Peace.
Challenging Trump's bodyguard. That would be. We will fuck Trump's bodyguard.